Which one is better, SU-57 or J-20? Is it better to ask if you're about to buy 5th generation fighters for your country and you got only these two options, what would be your choice? First, let's know them briefly. SU-57 is the Russian design of the Sukhoi company, and according to Russians, it's a 5th generation fighter. First flew in 2010 January and was in service by 2020 December. There are just 12 made, 10 are testing props, and 2 have been produced since mass production started. At the other hand, J-20 is the Chinese-produced 5th generation fighter. J-20 have been designed by the Chengdu Aerospace Corporations. J-20 first flew in 2011 January and entered service in 2017 March. The total number produced is being guessed around 150, and it is still in mass production. The third, 5th generation fighter made around the world is J-20. The first two are F-22 and F-35. So let's get the fun part started. The comparing begins. 5th generation fighters' most important feature is being stealth and nearly impossible to find them on radar. Having this in mind, the design of a 5th generation fighter requires a special fuselage design, which should include cutting lines, which the radar wave projectiles won't be able to reflect correctly, and thus the fighter will be invisible. When looking at the J-20's design, it is perfectly linear, and there is no much curved shapes. However, SU-57 doesn't do very well in the designing part. As you can see in the pictures, J-20 has a good cutty design, but SU-57 fuselage design looks more like a 4+ generation fighter. According to the Sukhoi company, RCS amount for SU-57 is between 0.1 square meters to 1 square meters, which makes an average of 0.5 square meters. And about the J-20's RCS amount, there is no confirmed information. However, my guess would be between the Russian and American-made 5th generation fighters. The important feature about the SU-57 is the infrared scanner, which means it'll be able to detect other fighters with just the heat exiting them. Maybe Russians relied on this capability and didn't give enough importance to the stealth capabilities, and worked more on the maneuverability. Now let's get started with the most important part, the engine. SU-57 uses AL-41F engines, but as the word goes around, they are working on a new unique engine for SU-57, and the AL-41 engines are temporary. Each of these engines is capable of producing 93.1 kilonewtons. Also, when afterburner is used, it will reach 147.2 kilonewtons. It weighs about 1600 kilograms. And about time, we said about J-20. In the primary versions of J-20, the same AL-41 engines were used, but later on Chinese developed another engine for J-20. However, the new Chinese engine was just an upgraded version of AL-41. So according to events, overall we can conclude that Russians are better than Chinese at building engines. So J-20 is equipped with Shenyang WS-10C engines, which the maximum power is 147 kilonewtons, which is the same as AL-41. But could it be better than AL-41? The proper answer would be a copycat, could never be the real deal. Also, the weight of this new engine isn't clear. Imagine a fighter closing on an enemy airspace territory. At that moment, when the enemy fighters realize the fighter being stealth doesn't matter anymore. In a dogfight, maneuverability is what matters the most. Now let's compare both fighters. SU-57, which is a highly maneuverable fighter, if it were to get in a dogfight with F-22, the winning chances are high due to high maneuverability. However, J-20 is lower than both fighters, but it is higher than F-35. As much as we know, J-20 isn't designed for dogfights or high maneuverability. The purpose of this Chinese fighter is to acquire targets from distance and shoot it down. How Chinese will perform in these situations, we have to wait and see. A fighter pilot's eyes and ears are the radar systems and avionics. If you got powerful radar systems, then the chances are you'll see the enemy before they see you, which will result in winning the fight. Here are SU-57's avionics systems as far as we know. Multifunctional integrated radio electronics systems. Bielka radar, frontal X-band active electronically scanned array radar, known as ISA. Cheek X-band ISA radars for increased angular coverage. Slat L-band arrays for IFF. Himalayas electronic countermeasure suit. ATOL electro-optical targeting system. Laser directional infrared countermeasures. Infrared search and track. Ultraviolet missile approach warning systems. Advanced stabilized navigation and targeting system. Optional external targeting pod. Thermal imager for low altitude flying and night landing. And these are J-20's avionics as far as we know. Active electronically scanned array radar. EOTS, electro-optical targeting system. Infrared search and track. Disturbed aperture system. Which fighter is supreme in avionics? We can't really and fairly compare the two. But if the Chinese system is a copycat of American F-35, then chances are it would be better than the Russian SU-57 avionics system. Looking at both fighters' performances, SU-57's maximum speed is 2,440 km per hour, which means 2 Machs. SU-15's range, including 2 auto-fuel tanks, is 4,500 km. Maximum flight height is 20,000 meters. The empty weight for SU-57 is 18 tons and maximum carrying weight is 35 tons. And the fuel tank weight is 10,300 kilograms. And at last, J-20. The maximum speed is about 2.5 Machs and the range including 2 fuel tanks is about 5,500 kilometers. Empty weight for J-20 is 17 tons. Maximum carrying weight is 37 tons. Also, the fuel tank weight is 12,000 kilograms. And about the prices, SU-57 costs $100 million and J-20 costs $120 million. Just so you know, F-22 costs $143 million. In general, the conclusion can be if you're looking for high capability and low prices, SU-57 is the best option. But if you're looking for a better 5th generation capabilities, J-20 would be your option. Especially if you consider the stolen data from F-35 used on J-20, it wouldn't be out of guess that the J-20 could have better technologies equipped. SU-57 is a hardened fighter and more durable engines. However, Chinese stand after Russians in metallurgy science. But in general, J-20 is closer to 5th generation fighters. Which one would I choose? Well, SU-57. The reason is obvious. Because SU-57 is the best defensive choice. High maneuverability and durability, it could hunt down many fighters around the world. Still, it would lack certain capabilities in front of J-20. So tell me what would be your choice in the comment section below. And don't forget to stay tuned for more content by subscribing and turning the notification on.